Since B.F. Skinner introduced operant conditioning to the world, there have been countless studies conducted that have applied and expanded on the idea that the strengthening and weakening of a behavior will affect the probability of future occurrences. One study published about positive reinforcement training was an experiment extended to minimize the stress on 14 male black-capped squirrel monkeys. Gillis, Janes, and Kaufman taught target touching, hand-sitting, restraint training, and injection training with the goal to facilitate pairing between laboratory animals and their caretakers. Successive approximations were rewarded with yogurt-flavored Cheerios, marshmallows, grapes, peanuts, and banana slices. In addition to the edible reinforcers, a clicker acted as a conditioned reinforcer. Monkeys trained Monday through Friday, 1 to 6 times a day. A learned behavior was defined as consistently and confidently able to repeat the behavior successfully 10 times in 2 minutes. Results confirmed that 14 of the 14 subjects learned the targeting task. 13 of the 14 subjects learned the hand-setting task. 10 of the 14 subjects learned restraint training, and injection training was learned by 12 of 13 subjects. Overall, this study lasted about 2 months. Positive reinforcement combined with clicker training proved to be an effective intervention to ease anxieties associated with contact between laboratory squirrel monkeys and their caretakers. Note: for Cotterin, Perry and Adams applied an intervention using negative reinforcement to deter deer from entering plotted areas. Subjects were 6 adult black-tailed deer in Olympia, Washington. Plots of land were guarded with an invisible shock fence. Inside the fence, highly preferred western red cedar was planted and apple slices were arranged. Deer were assigned shock collars. If deer entered a restricted area, an alarm would cue for the deer to escape within 2 seconds. After 2 seconds of being within the restricted area, deer received an electric shock through their collar. The effect of negative reinforcement was demonstrated by using electric shock to cause deer to escape and avoid plotted areas. Blue, a female betta, was purchased from a commercial vendor. Betta fish were recommended for their reputation for being lower maintenance fish. Blue was placed in a glass pitcher capable of holding up to 24 ounces of fluid. Blue measured approximately 2 inches from head to tail fin. A Google Pixel 2 provided an alarm and vibrations which acted as the aversive stimuli. Also, a pipe cleaner was bent into a circular shape with a 1.5-inch diameter to make a hoop for Blue to swim through. In this experiment, negative reinforcement was conducted to train Blue to swim through the hoop. 3 baseline trials were conducted to observe Blue's reaction to the pipe cleaner. Exposure was defined as submerging the hoop of the pipe cleaner under the water for 30 seconds. After 3 baseline trials, negative reinforcement complemented the submerged pipe cleaner. Pulsing vibrations along with an alarm sounded until Blue swam through the hoop. Once the desired behavior occurred, vibrations and the alarm ceased. One session of 12 trials were conducted for 4 days. After 1 minute of stationary swimming or swimming away from the hoop, prompts were implemented by herding Blue through the hoop with the hoop itself. Response latency was then recorded, and the next trial began after 1 minute of downtime. This experiment did not prove to be an effective form of conditioning for hoop training. Average latency for each session was 1 minute and 29 seconds, 1 minute and 57 seconds, 1 minute and 22 seconds, and 2 minutes and 39 seconds respectively. Shortly after purchase, Blue contracted a fungal infection, which was treated, but the infection affected food consumption and overall health. The fungal infection acted as an extraneous variable during experiment 1. Blue began receiving medication to treat the fungal infection immediately before initiating session 3. In this experiment, positive reinforcement was conducted to train Blue to display jumping behavior to retrieve edible reinforcers. Blue is exposed to experimenter's index finger for 4 trials. Exposure was defined as hovering directly above water level within the pitcher or finger touching the water. Baseline exposure trials lasted 30 seconds each. During intervention, the experimenter's index fingertip was dipped in beta food prior to exposure. Durations of exposure were 3.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and 2.5 minutes respectively. The plan was to make contact between the fish and the experimenter's finger and then gradually increase the distance between water level and the experimenter's finger. This increase in distance would shape Blue's jumping behavior. However, Blue never swam close enough to contact reinforcement. After experiencing some unexpected events, hoop training was conducted using positive reinforcement. The same circular-shaped pipe cleaner from Experiment 1 was utilized, and a 3-inch delivery wand presented edible reinforcers to Blue. The edible reinforcers used were dried mysis. No baseline was conducted. On the first trial, Blue required positional prompts to swim through the hoop. The target behavior occurred after 1 minute and 20 seconds. During the second trial, the target behavior occurred with a prompt after 40 seconds. Response latencies and prompt levels for the next trials were 34 seconds with prompts, 40 seconds with no prompts, 1 minute and 50 seconds with prompts, and 25 seconds with no prompts. Average latency for these 6 trials was 54 seconds. This was found by combining the times for all 6 trials and dividing by 6. Using positive reinforcement showed significantly shorter response latency times than negative reinforcement during hoop training.